multi-layer feed-forward network, single node with its own feedback, single-layer recurrent network, and multi-layer recurrent network. So, why this network architecture is given, or it is known as the connection between the input and output layer. So, the neuron that is visualized, you can see in this arrangement. And ANN consists of highly interconnected processing elements, that is neurons. So ये जो X1, X2, Xn, these are what? Input neuron. And Y1, Y2, Yn is what? It is an output neuron. ठीक है? तो हम लोग क्या बोलेंगे? ये जो nodes है, you can see this nodes, they are neuron. So to transfer the information from one neuron to another neuron, these interconnections are given, and you can see all these arrows are pointing in a forward direction. कोई भी पीछे नहीं जा रहा, they are not going towards or in backward direction. So these are known as feed forward networks, means it is giving or feeding the network from input to the output layer. The information is fed and it's transferring from input to output layer. So this is known as feed forward. अगर आपका information from input to output जाता है and there is no back propagation of the information, it is known as feed forward network. Now, why it is known as a single layer feed forward network? So this is a simple neuron architecture. And since it is having only one input stage and output stage, that's why it is known as single layer feed forward network. Have you understood? एक simple feed forward architecture है जिसमें input layer है, output layer है, and then there are weights in between input and output layer. So the feed forward network means what? If if no neuron in the output layer is an input to the node is the same layer or the preceding layer, it's known as feed forward layer, or you can say in layman language the information transferred from input to output layer. So there is no feedback or there is no directed back output or input. So this it's going in the same single direction. Now, layers is formed by taking the processing element and combining it with the other processing element. You can see this एक single input x1 है, right? X1 and x2 are combined and they are multiplied with weight W11. They are multiplied with weight W11 and W21, and you are getting an output, right? So, what is this doing? They are the layer is formed by taking processing element and combining it with the other processing element. So they are combining with the other processing element. So the input and output are linked with each other. Inputs are connected to the processing node and with the various weights. So when the layer of this processing nodes, so X1, X2, Xn are the processing nodes, and the layers of this processing nodes is formed. The input can be connected to this node by the various weights. So you can see there is weight and the input is connected to the output layer with the help of the weight. And one X1, X2, Xn, it is connected to the output layer, and Y2 is also connected with the X1, X2, Xn. So they are going in only one direction. That's why it is a single layer feed forward network because there is only one input and one output. Now, in case of the other one, That is the multi-layer feed forward network. अब इसमें देखो, सिंगल लेयर में एक कोई बीच में लेयर था कि नहीं? देयर इज ओनली वन लेयर, दैट इज इनपुट एंड आउटपुट। अब इसके बीच में देयर आर मल्टीपल हिडन लेयर्स आ जाते हैं, तो इट इज नोन एज मल्टी लेयर फीड फॉरवर्ड नेटवर्क। ओके, अगर मल्टी लेयर मतलब क्या है? इनपुट एंड आउटपुट लेयर के बीच में बहुत सारे हिडन लेयर्स आ जाते हैं और इंटरमीडिएट लेयर आ जाते हैं, इज नोन एज मल्टी लेयर फीड फॉरवर्ड नेटवर्क। So the input layer in this which receives the input, and this layer has no function except the buffering of the input signal. Okay, so the output layer generates the output of the network, and any layer that is formed between the input and output layer is known as the hidden layer. So you can see input layer, output layer, and any node that is connecting the input and output layer is known as the hidden layer. And the hidden layer is internal to the layer, and it is not seen, or there is no direct contact with the external environment. So that's why it's known as the hidden layer. Okay. So why it is known as hidden layer? Because it is there is no directly contact with the अ, आपके जो एक्सटर्नल एनवायरनमेंट से, बिकॉज़ एक्सटर्नल एनवायरनमेंट के कांटेक्ट में कौन है? इनपुट एंड आउटपुट है। लेकिन इसके बीच में क्या कौन से लेयर्स है, कैसे लेयर्स बिहेव कर रहे हैं, वी डू नॉट नो। सो द एक्सटर्नल एनवायरनमेंट इज नॉट नोइंग अबाउट दिस हिडन लेयर। So they are internal to between the input and output layer, and so between this, if it is consisting of 0 to 2 to 3 nodes, hidden layers अगर 0 to 2 to 3 nodes रहते हैं, it's known as neural network. And if it's greater than 3 hidden layers, it is known as deep neural network. So what is difference between an artificial neural network and deep neural network? So what is difference? Difference is only in the हिडन लेयर्स। अगर वो 2 से 3 हिडन लेयर आपके नेटवर्क में रहते हैं या आपके मॉड्यूल में रहते हैं, 2 से 3, तो इट इज़ नोन एज़ आर्टिफिशियल न्यूरल नेटवर्क। अगर आपको न्यूरल नेटवर्क को डीप न्यूरल नेटवर्क में कन्वर्ट करना है, तो हिडन लेयर शुड बी ग्रेटर देन 3 neural network. Sorry, hidden layers. So it is if it is greater than 3 hidden layers, then it is known as डीप न्यूरल नेटवर्क। ठीक है, तो अभी फिलहाल हम लोग क्या यूज करते हैं? डीप न्यूरल नेटवर्क करते हैं, बिकॉज इट्स एफिशिएंसी इज हायर देन योर आर्टिफिशियल न्यूरल नेटवर्क, बिकॉज उसमें क्या है, सिर्फ दो या से 3 ही आपके हिडन लेयर्स अवेलेबल होते हैं। सो दिस इज नोन एज fully connected network. Because why it is known as fully connected network? Because every output from one layer is connected to the other node or any other layer, and every node to the next layer. So it is connected. Everything is connected from one layer to the another layer, and from this layer to the next layer. So it is known as fully connected layer. And this is also feed forward network. You can see the arrow, it is going in the forward direction, and there is no backward or feedback network, you can see here. Okay, so when no output is directed back as a input to the same or preceding layer, then it is known as feed forward network. So difference between the single layer, there are no hidden layers, and multi-layer में there are multiple hidden layers between the input and output layers. So have you got between these two architecture, single layer feed forward network and multi-layer feed forward network?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no doubts. So, what is difference between AN and deep learning? Have you got it? It's only on the basis of hidden layer. If it is only 2 to 3 layers available in your network, then it is न्यूरल नेटवर्क और आर्टिफिशियल न्यूरल नेटवर्क अगर आपको डीप न्यूरल नेटवर्क बनाना है देन you have to connect more than 3 hidden layers. Okay, so the next one is the single node with its own feedback. There is only one single node. It is taking multiple inputs. One then outputs are also multiple, but the output is giving the feedback to the input. Okay, so it's single node with its own feedback. It is a simple recurrent neural network. जहाँ पे feedback आता है that is known as recurrent network. So it's simple recurrent neural network having only one single neuron and the feedback is available to the input itself. ठीक है तो इसमें एक normal neuron है single neuron there is no hidden layer multiple output and the output feedback is given to the input. So this is known as a simple recurrent network. Recurrent network जहाँ पे feedback आपको देना पड़ता है. Then comes your single layer recurrent network. Okay, you can see here x1, x2, xn is again the input. y1, y2, yn is again the input. अब यहाँ पे आप देख रहे होंगे ये क्या कर रहा है आउटपुट से ही आउटपुट को फीडबैक प्रोवाइड कर रहा है ठीक है द आउटपुट लेयर इज गिविंग फीडबैक टू द आउटपुट लेयर itself. Please look in to this diagram. So this is a single layer recurrent network where the feedback, the single layer network with the feedback from output, and it is directing the all the processing elements to output itself. Okay, so it is giving the feedback to the output itself. Then comes the multi-layer recurrent network. So from this diagram, what you can see, so x1, x2, xn, then there is z1, z2, zn, and y1, y2, yn. You can see the feedback from the output of y1 is given as the input to z1. So whatever the y1 has produced as the output, it's giving as input to z1. So this is known as multiple recurrent network. तो यहाँ पे आप y1 y2 y सॉरी a1 a2 a and b लिख सकते हो and you will get this feedback of y1 to a1 a2 an also. So this is known as multi-layer recurrent network. So what is the definition of multi-layer recurrent network? So the processing element output can be directed back to the nodes in the preceding layer, forming a multi-layer recurrent network. Okay, so its output is given to the intermediate layer or the preceding layer, and it's directed back, means it is giving the feedback to the recurrent layer Z1, Z2, Zn. So this is a multi-layer recurrent network. इन दोनों में किसी को डाउट है, सिंगल लेयर रिकरेंट नेटवर्क एंड मल्टी लेयर रिकरेंट नेटवर्क? इसमें क्या होता है, इसमें फीडबैक अवेलेबल रहता है. सो in single layer the output of y1 is given as input to y1 itself, and similarly to y2 and yn. Okay, the output of y1 is given to y1, y2 and yn. And multi-layer recurrent network, the output of y1 is given to the intermediate layer, that is z1, z2, zn. So these are the feedback networks or recurrent network. So all these five architecture of neuron, it's important. So what are the five architectures? A single layer feed forward network, जिसमें there are no hidden layers, and it's going, the input is going from input to the output node. Then the information available from input to output layer goes through the hidden layers. So if it is greater than 3 hidden layer, it is known as deep neural network. Then single node with its own feedback. So there is only one single neuron which is taking multiple input, and from this multiple output, it is giving to the input itself. So there is a feedback. In single layer recurrent network, the feedback from output y1 is given to the input as y1, y2, and yn. Similarly, for multi-layer recurrent network, and this also